Arizona. So he's here visiting with us. He's also the acting president of our temple in Dallas and part of the executive GBC commission that governs the whole of North America. So we're very happy to have him. There's plenty chairs, plenty empty chairs there. No problem.
No, I'm fine. Is this working?
Got to switch on one.
Yeah, I know. Remember the places to switch. Okay, now. So I'll start with an invocation prayer and then we'll speak. Om Gyanam Tingadandasya Gyanajana Shalaka Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Durvescha Kritasindhu Yevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamadhyam Dharati Swapadamikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Right now, Krishna Krishna Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Actually, in a lot of ways, for speakers, when they have a large crowd in front of them, they feel more enthused to speak. I'm a little the opposite. I prefer to speak to fewer people because it allows a more personal interaction. It allows for a better understanding for everyone, for me and for everyone who's there. So I'm quite happy. We went to the large crowd, we did what we could with the large crowd, now we need to do one with the smaller team, the more intimate team. Thank you very much. So today I thought I'd speak a little about the deities. I didn't realize the deity curtains would be closed, but you know, you've met with the deities. Are any of you here for the first time? No, so you first time. Okay, it's 1, 2. All right. So bear with me a little. The topic I was going to speak to you about was friendship. We all look for friends in our lives. We're all looking for friendships in our lives. We're always looking for people who we can relate with. And in the science of Krishna consciousness, we are an organization that is called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because Krishna is the original personality who is, in different religions we talk about God. The origin of this word God comes from Krishna. Whilst Krishna is God himself, he's also beyond God, he's the origin of God. He himself presents himself as God when he comes as Narayan, or as Christ, or as Allah, like that, or present himself as God. But in his form as Krishna, there's something very, very specific and very, very particular to how he relates with the living entities. He is the cause of all causes, and he relates with the different with the living entities in 3 parts: as the person with whom we have the relationship, as I'm going to set this, don't worry, because it keeps going down. I know why it's going down. That's I've spoken a long time ago. I get the idea when the mic is playing. You set me right. So the first part is the relationship. The second is the process. How do we relate with people? Who do we relate with is important. How we relate with them and why we relate with them. These three are the most important things when it comes to relationships. So Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essential texts of our philosophy. It is actually called the Song of God. Bhagavad means of God, and Gita means song, so it's a song of God. And Supreme Lord Krishna himself is speaking, singing this song. And in that he says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Vichati. He says, I am the greatest friend, the greatest lover of each and every living entity. Now, friendship, when it rises to its peak, to the crescendo, to the highest level, is what we call love. At its highest, it's called love. And so he says that he is the greatest lover, and therefore the relationship with the Supreme Lord, with Sri Krishna, is the highest of all relationships. And like I said, we're always looking for friends, or if we have good friends, we feel very fortunate that we have people that we can have friendships with. Life becomes a lot more exciting and relishable and blissful when you have really great friends to live it with, like that. So when we come to the temple, on the altar you will see the Supreme Lord represented in different ways. The same Supreme Lord coming at different times for different purposes, represented in different ways. And in the center you might have noticed that there were two personalities with their hands up like that. Did everybody notice that? Anybody not notice that? There were two personalities with their hands up like this. If you don't, next time the curtain opens, look for them. They're the presiding deities of this place. They're called Gaura and Nitai. Gauranga and Nityananda. And in short, they're called Gaura and Nitai. Like that. Those are their names. And why they're putting their hands up like that is they're saying, choose us, we want to be your friends. We want to be your friends. And why do they want to be our friends? Because they can give us what no one else can. They can give us everything. Now, we do have friends, but our friends can't give us everything, right? In a sense, they do. In the sense that when you have friendships, you feel so good about it that you feel like my friends are giving me everything. But it's not quite true. For example, if someone very beloved to us is dying, our friends can't stop that from happening. They can't say, no, they will not die, they will stay alive. Like that. There's some limitations that the friends have, naturally. We don't expect those things from them anyway. If we fall into debt, you can't expect the friends to dole out the money so that they can pay off our debts. Especially if we're running up our credit cards, at Sears or wherever else we have to shop. Neiman Marcus, call it needless markups. So the idea is that we would like to have friends who can do everything for us, who should be able to do anything for us, like that. It would be nice to have those friends, and that's who we have in Gaura and Nitai. They actually appeared in this world only for one reason, and that is to give their first love to us in a very intimate way. Because each and every one of us is a unique personality. No two of us are the same. Actually, there are not even two blades of grass out there that are exactly the same. That's how unique everything is in this world. Now, they do look similar. It's like, sometimes I hear in America us saying, all the Chinese look alike, And I've been to China, and the Chinese tell me all the Americans look alike. It's amazing, right? Everybody thinks the other lot look alike. But they understand their own group better, like that. But the point is, no one is alike. No two persons look exactly the same, even if they're twins. There are some differences. The parents can tell the differences. And what to speak of personality? I mean, there is a real difference in personalities from person to person. Like that. So each and every one of us is unique. And to totally understand somebody else's uniqueness would really mean that I understand my own uniqueness. Because you certainly cannot say much about others if you don't know yourself, right? So So the first tenet of our faith is that one should know who I am. And we say, I am spirit soul, I am not the body. Because we normally talk in positive and negative terms. What I am and what I am not. Because if you know what you're not, it sort of takes away those things that you might think you are. Like, say, for example, we say, my house. Well, then, I'm not the house, am I? I'm separate from the house. My car, I'm not the car, I'm separate from the car. The same way when you say, my body, I'm not the body, I'm separate from the body. Why is this information important to us? This information is important to us because who needs to be happy here? It's I who need to be happy. And so since I am the one who wants to be happy, then if I don't know who I am, then there's little chance that I'm going to be happy. Because I don't even know who I am. So how am I going to be happy? I don't know what I want then. Because if it's a want, then who is wanting? Is it I who wants it? Is it my body who wants it? Is it my mind? Is it my intelligence? Because these are all different characters actually. These characters serve me, the soul, like that. So, the Supreme Lord, in His infinite wisdom, knows that the living entities are His manifestation, and He manifested them for the purposes of happiness. It is described in Scripture. The Lord is describing aham evasam evagre nanyadit sadasatparam asyadham yaditatcha yavishishedasvasmeham. In the beginning, there was only Krishna, and then from His right He manifests Balaram, from His left Radharani, and then they manifest other living entities. The material and spiritual worlds are manifested. The question is asked, why? Why did you do all this manifestation? And Krishna answers that by saying He wanted to increase happiness. Because alone, a person can be so happy. But when you have people who are your friends and things that are compatible, then we're going to be happier. We can increase our happiness. And the greatest happiness is in the emotion of love. And in love, for there to be love, one has to have free will, because you cannot love by force. There has to be free will. And so we're given free will, and sometimes we exercise the free will in a way that lands us in trouble. And we get into a miserable condition. And that's basically what's happened in the material world. We got ourselves to the material world thinking that we were going to be happy, and when we came here we realized things don't all go very well all the time. There are issues, there are problems, like that. The Lord, knowing we've put ourselves in that condition, follows us into the material world to say to us, I'm here for you. Because when there is a real near and dear friend, that near and dear friend is going to be there for us at all times, right? Including our hour of need. We have this saying, that when you have a problem and a friend runs away, then that's affair with a friend, right? The friend was around until things were fine. When things started getting bad and squirrely, then the friend became squirrely too. He started taking off, she went away, like that. That's not a real friend. So Krishna is our best friend. He loves us the most. No one loves us more than Him, and no one knows us more intimately than Him, and no one can do more for us than Him. So to come to us in a way that we can work with, He comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Gaura, with His elder brother Nitai. So those are the two personalities. So when we come to the temple, the great advantage we have is we can turn to them and accept them as our friends. And once you accept them as a friends, once you say to them, I am yours and you are mine, Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, describes, once you say that, they take full charge of everything in our life. They come into our lives in ways that are miraculous. Now, why is Gaura and Nitai important? Why this particular set of deities important? It is because they do not take offense. Our nature is such, we are very prone to making offenses. Even with our own friends, right? We say things and do things that our friends don't quite appreciate from time to time. We may do things like that. And it may be mostly out of ignorance, mostly out of the fact that we didn't quite appreciate that our friends may become unhappy if we say something to them or do something. They know that. Gaura and Nitai know that, and so they do not take offense. Even though we are, we misbehave, we're sinful, we're weak, we're not able to do so many things, they don't look at that, they don't see that. They see that that we are the best, that each and every one of us is the best, and how they can help us so that we can actually become blissful in our life, because that is the purpose of life, to be happy, and then to give happiness to others, because you cannot give something you don't have. So the idea is to become happy and then give happiness to others. It's actually described as the purpose of life. They know that best, they know how it works, and the best way to actually proceed the process, what process to do it by. So they help us in that way. They actually serve us, even though they're the Supreme Lord. In most religions, we hear the fact that we are meant to serve the Lord. We are meant to serve God. In very few religions have I heard that God wants to serve us. And that would be a wonderful God, right? Who wants to serve us. Who considers us the master and wants to become the servant of the master. Like that. This is the amazing part about Gaura Nitai. They want to serve us. They want to actually give us the greatest happiness. And to give us the greatest happiness, they know all the arrangements that can be made. We don't. We only know certain things. And then sometimes we make miscalculations. We think, well, if only I had $100,000, everything would be fine in my life. And what happens when you have $100,000? Then you think, if only I had $500,000, I think everything would be fine in my life. You know, and you see this businessman coming out with a target thinking, well, if I make $1 million, I'll be the happiest businessman in the world. And they make $1 million and they think, I need to now make $5 million. I need to make $10 million. And there are businessmen out there making billions of dollars, and they're still out there doing business the next day thinking, no, I think I need more than that. That's not enough. So we always make miscalculations like that. We think we know what is best for us, when actually we have a partial and incomplete idea of what is best for us. But the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of all causes, who knows everything about us intimately, things that we don't know about ourselves, they know. They're here to help us achieve this purpose of the greatest potential of our life. How to achieve the greatest potential of our life. How to bring everything into synchronicity. How to synchronize everything. To bring everything so that things work well in unity, in cooperation, like that. So this is our great advantage in coming to a program like this, because we have deities. Now, these deities have devotees who serve them. Here, led by Mother Sandhamani, Prabhu. She is actually the temple president, and she is the leader, the mother of this community. And she has with her a team of devotees, with some of whom are sitting here. And they actually serve these deities, and they also serve all of you who come to this place. Now, these two are called the deities and the devotees. The deities are the ones that are on the altar. The devotees are the ones who are doing the service. And it is actually the deities and devotees that, when you come here, you're getting the association of. And that association is priceless. There is no association in creation that can equal or come anywhere near equaling the association of deities and devotees. This is the beauty of this place. This is its charm. And on a shoestring budget, Mother Sandhamani actually runs a place that is so magical that we can say very, very confidently that this place is actually an oasis in the desert. Now, you know, in some ways we do say that Tucson is in Arizona in a part that is like a desert area, right? Is this place considered a desert area? Yeah, it's a desert. Yeah, so the word oasis makes a lot of sense. Oasis in a desert makes a lot of sense, actually. And sometimes I'm in cities where, you know, it's not a desert, you know. But even then I still say oasis. These places are oases. And this is an oasis where you can quench your thirst. You can slake your thirst here. And actually become really very happy, extremely happy. So take advantage of that. Meet with these persons, talk to them, associate with them, and you will see magical things happen in your life. Accept both the deities and the devotees. Both of these are actually unified. They're in union with one another. They're not separated. The deities are never have any happiness separated from the devotees. and the devotees feel no happiness separated from the deities. So this is a package deal. You get a full package deal here. And this package actually will do everything in your life, everything that you can ever imagine and more. Normally, in the business world, because I do seminars for business people, I train business people for their bottom line profitability and whatever else they like to have as their bottom line. To show them how they can be most productive, how the businesses can be most successful. I do that with professionals, with attorneys, doctors, and others as well. Normally, we talk about how when you come to meet someone, the person who is talking, like in my case, when I'm talking to these business people, the advice that's given to me when I'm dealing with them is don't raise expectations. Because if people come to you with very high expectations and you don't meet those expectations, then you're considered a failure. You failed. You didn't deliver. Better if they come with low expectations and you over-deliver. Then you're successful. Right? This is generally how people in the business world deal with one another. But in our case, we can confidently say, please come to us with the highest expectation you can come with. Come with the greatest expectation you can come with. Because this is the place that will deliver way beyond your greatest expectations. Sometimes people use this word, the wildest dreams. What would you like in your wildest dreams? What would you like? And I think to myself, why is wild so great? Why wildest dreams? What would you like in your wildest dreams? I didn't expect that to happen in my wildest dreams. They'll talk like that, right? And I thought to myself, isn't it better to say, I didn't think that would happen in my most ecstatic dreams. Wouldn't ecstatic dreams be better than wild dreams? I mean, how many of us like to live on the wild side? Some of us do. There's no doubt about it. There's some of us who love living on the wild side. But most of us like to live on the ecstatic side. We understand that ecstasy is the greatest thing, being ecstasy. I'm not talking about the drug, by the way, ecstasy. But don't plug something else accidentally while I'm talking. But the idea is that we want to be ecstatic. In your most ecstatic dreams, and you can dream as much as you'd like to dream. You can dream for 5 years and make it more and more ecstatic in your dreams, I'm saying. And then you come here and say, can you deliver better than that? And I'll say, hands down, yes. We can. Why? Because that's what Gaura Nitai can do. That's their capacity. They can do what no one else can do. And they not only meet the expectations, they exceed the expectations. When we actually have an honest relationship with them. What does it mean to have an honest relationship? It means a heart-to-heart relationship. Not a relationship of transactions or business. Okay, we will love you if you will do this for us and this for us and this for us. It's like a give and take, like businessmen. I'll give you a product and you empty your pockets. I'll charge 10 times more than the product is worth. It's like Bill Gates says, in Microsoft, if he cannot make 50 times what it costs him to make a product, he will not sell that product. He doesn't get 50 times. Generally, he'd like to have 100 times. So if something costs $1, he'll charge you $100 for it and tell you it's worth it. And because we don't know better, we'll pay him anyway and empty our pockets, and he'll become a billionaire, and we'll wonder how he became a billionaire. Like that. So, but that's not what happens with Gaura Nitai. Gaura Nitai have nothing that you can give them that they don't already have and more. They have everything. They actually own the whole creation. This whole creation is running because of them. And yet, they're wanting to give us. That is love on their part. On our part, the love is, we have a relationship with them, which is a heart-to-heart relationship, one where we dearly love them, and at the same time we understand that we have our own needs and wants. We have our own requirements. And we can honestly present that to them. The way the prayer is offered is, but Srila Prabhupada advised us, say, my dear sirs, and then ask whatever you'd like to ask. Or my dear lordships. You can just say, my dear sirs. They're two guys, two brothers. My dear sirs. Then ask whatever you'd like to ask. They're called the good luck greetings. Now, honestly, I've never understood anything to be good luck. I got educated as an attorney and then became a CPA as well. These are my professional qualifications. I never depended on luck for anything. I made sure I worked for everything I got. Because from my point of view, I don't think luck ever was with me. I had to work for everything I got. So I don't believe in luck. But when I came to meet Gaura Nitai and I started dealing with them, magical things happened and I realized, oh my God, this is miraculous. I never expected something to happen that is miraculous, and I found miraculous things happen, and so did the devotees who are here. And that is why they're here, because they're living a miraculous life. It is actually a miraculous life. They eat better than kings and queens, by the way. This is a kitchen religion. This is a religion in which the kitchen is always running. It's always pumping out food, and the food is really nice. How many of you have had food here at this place? Okay. What do you think of the food? Wonderful, right? Yeah, I can tell you, kings and queens don't eat like this. The problem with the devotees is they overeat. It's not that they're hungry. Their problem is they need to control their eating. And they get the best food because this food has been tasted by the Supreme Lord Himself, so it tastes extra relishable. If you ever wonder, because sometimes people come and tell me, you're putting something in there. Please tell us, what are you putting in there? Because we're using the same recipe and we're not getting the same taste. How is it? We have a restaurant in Dallas, which for the last 8 years has won the Best Restaurant of the Year award. And it's a restaurant about maybe twice the size of this room. Maybe not even quite twice the size of this room. And pulls in $600,000 profit. I mean, can you imagine? That's a very powerful restaurant, And people who come and eat there, they say, we can't help ourselves. In any one week, if you don't come and eat, that week doesn't go as well. We just have to come and eat there so that we know our week will be okay. You're putting something in there. You're putting some drugs in there or something that's making us feel high and happy. And my wife tells me that you're so much better this week. What did you do that was different? And things like that. They tell stories like that, And we do tell them what the answer is, but the point about us is that even the truths we speak of are so confidential that even after we tell the person still doesn't hear it. That's confidential, right? Confidential means you're hiding something or something that you don't want somebody to know, right? That's called confidential. Ours is so confidential that even when you tell them, they still don't get it. They think, no. Did I hear that right? No. What is it that you put in the food? You didn't understand the question I asked you. And I kept telling them, no, it's the Lord has tasted the food. And because He's tasted it and left it for us, the food becomes more relishable. Now, I think you heard my question. That's what they were saying. What do you put? Okay, that's fine. Okay, you're doing that. That's very good. We're happy you're doing that. Now tell us, what do you put in the food that's different? We keep coming back to the same point. It's with the love and affection that we make the food and we make offering to the Lord. And then we partake of the food after He's given it back to us. And that's what makes the food relishable. No, you're putting something in there, you're not telling us, well, okay, anyway, it's okay. McDonald's does that, Kentucky Fried Chicken does that, they have secret recipes, they don't tell anybody, and they make a lot of money. So I guess you guys have your secret recipes. Okay. But the point is, this is the remarkability, the remarkable, amazing, also equally powerful, but Gaura Nitai are especially inventing, they're especially here for this reason. They want to reach out to us at our level, come to our level, and be with us, and then embrace us, and take us to the highest realms of ecstasy, the highest realms of experience, because that is what life is about. Life is about experience. And when we have great experiences, we think we have a great life. When the experiences are not so great, then we think life's not so great. Like that. So this is the place where we get that experience. So you're very fortunate, actually. Of the more than 100,000, I'm sure, how many people live in Tucson?
About 1 million.
1 million people live in Tucson. Oh my God. This is a big town. I'm GBC of a big town. Anyway, point is that the point is that out of 1 million people, how many people are hearing this? How many people are here taking advantage of this priceless opportunity to have an intimate relationship? By the way, that relationship is so intimate, nobody but you and Gaura Nitai will know what's going on individually. Now the others may guess some things by seeing your bright faces and seeing that you're brightening up and you're looking happier. Okay, things must be going better in your life. You look happier, you look bright, you know. It's like they say the happy Hares, you know, bright-faced Hare Krishnas. You know, something's going right. They're probably taking a lot of drugs or something. You know, they always think it's something like that. They can't imagine. There could be anything when you don't take drugs and you don't take any of these other stuff that people consider to be high-potency, pleasure-giving substances. You know, here for us it is this relationship that actually nourishes us, the relationship with the deities and the relationship with the devotees. So thank you very much. You're obviously highly qualified persons, highly recognizable persons that the Lord has given you the invitation to come here, because no one can come here without the invitation of Gaura Nitai. The reason you're here is that the Lords are sitting in your hearts and actually asking you to come here, have requested you to come here, and you accepted the invitation, and you came. This is the greatest of all fortunes. From this greatest of all fortunes come all other fortunes, even fortunes that we can't even imagine in our most ecstatic dreams, like this. Like that. So thank you very much. I'm going to ask, I mean I can go on and on. My nature is I like to talk a lot. But I'd like to stop here and ask if you'd like to say something, ask a question, anything that you feel that you'd like to talk about or ask about, you're welcome to speak, even if it wasn't related to what I said. You're all obviously stunned. Thinking, oh my God. Yes, ma'am.
So how do you reconcile doing these seminars for business people on productivity and increasing profitability when profit should not be a motive in the spiritual sense?
Yeah. How do you reconcile them?
Yeah, how do you
I am
do
not
these-
so much of a reconciler myself.
How do you do these seminars?
I do those seminars like anybody else does
Oh,
seminars.
okay.
But the point is that if you look at the principle,
Mhm.
that some of these profits are not used properly, some of these profits are not, can be harmful to people,
Mhm.
that's where, the reconciliation part comes in. I leave that to Gaura Nitai. I let them resolve that. I'm doing it on their behalf. I'm trying to reach out on their behalf. Because as I reach out on their behalf, they come to understand that this person has a lot of knowledge, has a lot of understanding about how things can be done properly.
Mhm.
So they open up and they start talking about wider issues. Because generally the problem with us in our lives is that we're too narrowly focused. We don't have a breadth of understanding. We don't have a breadth of acceptance of the community around us. We tend to be so narrowly focused because I need something right now, and it's almost like we're clappers on and we can't see anything else. We just need that need to be fulfilled. That's all. So when you do these seminars, they do open up and they understand that there's a whole universe around us that we can actually harness, that we can actually take advantage of, that where there are opportunities and challenges like that. And so then because their hearts open up, like their minds and hearts open up, they're able to do things better, they're able to connect with community better, their profitability becomes better utilized, things like that. So it's a little like, when a person is sick, rather than condemn the person, why not give them some medicine that will help them get out of that sickness, and then they can become healthy people, and then they can do great things in their lives, right? So in some ways, what is happening out there is that there's a lot of ignorance. And so if you go out with knowledge, and give them some knowledge that dissipates the ignorance, that allows them to step up to higher levels of consciousness, so that they do greater things. Anyway, the reason also is, in terms of answering that question, there is a point that Krishna makes in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, where he says that one must do one's duty and leave the results to him. So I do my duty of reaching out to people, then I leave the results to Gaura Nitai and say, well, you take care of the results. Now, the reason the Lord says that He wants to take care of the results is not because He wants the results. Because we can't really give Him much results. We don't have much to give. we're like beggars. You can't give the Supreme Lord who owns the whole creation money, you know what I'm saying? Anything, because you have nothing to give. We're beggars, you know? So, but the point is, what he says is when he says leave the results to me, it's because he can give bigger results. And again, I think the one thing that really talks in this world is money. A lot of times. So I relate it in dollars and cents. Imagine if Bill Gates was your best friend, or somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, who runs Facebook, the Facebook Corporation, which by the way has 60,000 engineers working full time, just working out trends and figuring out how customers can be better served. 60,000 engineers, all paid around $300,000 each. Can you add up that amount of money? That's how much he pays just for research, to make sure that Facebook knows how to deal with customers. Does that tell us something about being customer friendly? And even then people argue with him. Oh, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, privacy issues and stuff. So, point is that, I lost the point. What was I saying before I went to the next one? Oh yes, if he was your best friend, right? If he was your best friend, then you wouldn't have financial issues because he's multi-billionaire. He's got a lot of money. If he was your best friend, the best friend means that he'll share anything that he gets with you. That's what best friends do with one another, share. So, if you wanted $1 million to start some business, for him that would be like, oh my God, why are you starting a $1 million business? I'll give you $10 million. He can do anything for you. Why? Because he has the capacity. Do you see what I'm saying? No one has the capacity of growing time. No one. They have the greatest capacity. So why not make them your best friend? And by the way, it's a personal thing anyway. It's not for announcing to others that Gaura is my best friend. It's not for showing others that Gaura. It's an intimate heart-to-heart relationship. Just like the relationship between a lover and a beloved. It's a little private, isn't it? It's not a public thing. I mean, sometimes we see people with public, what they call public show of affection, and they'll smooch each other in public and show love to one another in public, like, look how much we love one another, that type of thing. But generally, in Vedic understanding, that's not considered high class dictatorial behavior, You don't need to show anybody anything that you already have. If you have it, you're secure. You don't have to show somebody to be secure. Generally, people who show don't have. But they need to show because they want somebody to think that they have. You see what I'm saying? So, in this case, the relationship with Gaura Nitai is a very intimate relationship. Only you know and Gaura Nitai know what you're doing with one another. It's wonderful, isn't it? Now, it can be totally private. People love privacy in this world, right? But here's something that is intimately private. At the same time, it's public in the sense you're coming into the temple and you're praying to Gaura Nitai. No one knows what you're saying to Gaura Nitai. You're saying it in your mind. You're not saying it aloud, so someone else can hear what you just said. So the relationship is an extremely wonderful relationship, and there couldn't be a sweeter relationship than that. And one might think, well, that's just a figment of your imagination. You're just imagining. Well, try it, please. When something is scientific, it is true at all times, for all people, under all circumstances, and in all places. That means it's scientific. These are the 4 variables, by the way. Time, place, circumstance, person. Whenever we do something, we have to adjust for these 4 factors. We don't do everything the same way in all places. For example, in the US, you drive on the right-hand side of the road. If you go to England and drive on the right-hand side of the road, you'll get a ticket. You see what I'm saying? So you've got to adjust for the place. Times change, right? There was a time in the past when you had these dial phones, right? I mean, some of them still have those dial phones, by the way. They love those dial phones so much they still want, ring, da 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 da, one number. Ring, da 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 da, that's the second number now. And you're going to put 10 numbers like that in the system, and then it's going to call out, Nobody has the time these days, They have just one number they press, it's a call they make all the time, so they just have one number, they have that number, the call goes out, right? So time, place, circumstance, depending on what circumstance we're in, we may do things differently based on the circumstance. For example, in the bathroom, you may do certain things that you won't do in public, right? A circumstance, you're different. Place, of course, and circumstance, we different circumstances. And person. You don't deal with your wife the same way you deal with your boss. Your boss will have problems, the wife will have problems. You do that. One of them has some problems. Point is that or husband like that. So point is that time, place, circumstance, and person, these are the four variables. But when something can happen, no matter what that variable is, that's called a valid truth. It's called prama. It's called a valid truth. And with Gaura Nitai, it's always prama. So it always works for all people, at all times, under all circumstances, and in all places. Whether it's in Tucson, it's in Dallas, it's in Timbuktu, it's on Mars, it's on Venus, makes no difference. It'll work. So this is the value of this type of arrangement. Where can you get that to happen? Very rare in this world to find something like that. So reaching out to people in an area, in an arena that they like. Each and every one of us has an arena we like. Business people like business. That's what they're about. They're all business, right? Professionals, depending on what they are, those who are doctors, like medical things. They're into health. They're into medicine and things like that. Musicians are into music, right? So if you meet them in their own arena, it's a lot easier to talk to them in their own arena. And then if you can show them how you can enhance their arena, remember I said, highest expectation. We're going in to enhance the arena. If we are actually who we say we are leaders, we have knowledge that is extremely valuable, then that should translate into experience. Because if it doesn't translate into experience, then it's conspiracy, right? It's a conspiracy. You're talking, but it's not happening. And it's a bait and switch type situation. I promise you this and I don't deliver. Does that make sense? Yeah. Other points? You're either all very shy, or you're very bright, you picked up on everything, and now you're ready to go. You're wearing your stuff, and you're, okay, let's open those curtains right now. Yes.
So now why aren't more people coming? If it's so sweet and perfect, and
Why aren't what?
there are so many intelligent people.
Because that's free will. That's free will. I mean, why isn't every girl falling in love with you? You're a nice person. You're a nice looking person. You're very capable. Why is every girl not falling in love with you or me or whoever? Point is that everybody has free will. The Lord wants us to have free will. Free will means that when it becomes the experience, they will also do. Right now they're experiencing, consciousness rises to 9 different levels. So whatever level of consciousness they're at, they're acting at that level. Obviously the persons who have come here, their consciousness must be at a high enough level that the Lord wants them to hear this message. Whereas, when I do go out into a particular arena, and I don't talk about Gaura Nitai, but I talk about that arena. I mean, they may want to talk about Gaura Nitai later with me for some reason. They may feel like, wow, you seem to have some knowledge. What else do you know? What else do you know? Okay, then it might open up. But generally it doesn't. And I understand that. Wherever their level of consciousness is where they're going to be acting. And that's fine. This is a reason why, we actually go out sometimes and do programs outside. People ask us, why do you sing in the streets? Why do you dance and sing in the streets? Can't you just keep your religion to your own church or temple and in the privacy of your temple, sing and dance and do whatever you like? Why are you doing it on the streets? It's our way of reaching out to the public. And it's amazing how many people, after we go out there, become interested. Feel like, wow, what is this about? I wonder what this is about. And then they find out, and then they come to the temple. And most of us ended up like this here because something like that happened outside. You see what I'm saying? So the reason, whilst this is very sweet, not everybody is taken to it, is this is sweet from the point of view of spirituality. Most people in the material world are not into spirituality. They're into materiality. They're into materialism. They want more material possessions. They're after what we call the American dream, or rich and famous, right? What were they saying? I'm more from the British world, so it's really different down there. All these big things. So Americans, what do they say? What are they chasing?
The American dream.
The American dream, yeah, it is the American dream, right? Yeah, okay, it is the American dream, yeah. So, they're chasing money and they're chasing, well, whatever they're chasing. Point is, they're chasing something out there that's a material object or material relationship, something like that. And the same Gaura Nitai give them the opportunity to do that, because how will you know something's sweet until you've tasted something sour? Until you've tasted something that's not sweet. Because you got to compare it to something, right? So when you've had material life, And then you come to spirituality and you taste the sweetness of spirituality, then you realize why this is very good for me, why I want this. And then it's a, what is it? It's a natural choice, it's a free will choice. No one forced you. Like those who come here, have any of you been asked, please sign up for a membership or something like that, and here's your membership dues every year? And, you know, most churches you go, probably require you to have a, you know, whereas here it's voluntary. The staff is voluntary too. Staff don't get paid, you know, anything. They're actually just, there's accommodation, some food, if an emergency happens, some medical need will be taken care of like that. That's pretty much it. How many people want a job, but that's what you get paid? I don't think anybody would sign up to pay like that. So this is a labor of love. It is a relationship of love with Gaura Nitai, like that. With Srila Prabhupada, with the deities and the devotees, like I was saying. But once they do know, those who even come up here accidentally meaning they think it's accidental, it's not, but they think it's accidental. Those who come here and they notice that, they notice there's something different going on here. There's something really nice going on here, you know? The place looks clean, it looks beautiful, the food is really great, people are so happy when they're singing and dancing, there are people from all cultures in the same place, you know, together, and everybody seems so happy, you know, so they do notice, and they pick up on that. Lots of times as a result of that, they try to find out more. But this is the organization that serves the individual. Generally, most organizations require the individuals to serve the organization. But here, the organization exists for the betterment of each person individually, like that. So, and I think in some ways it's a little fortunate not everybody turns up here. Because I think it'd be a little overwhelming for us. I think some of us might become too overwhelmed. If too many people turned up, we'd lose our, that personal taste. In a smaller group, there can be a lot of personal interactions, sweet personal interactions. When it gets a little larger, it sort of becomes like a statistic, It becomes sort of like a number or something like that. And then the individuality and that personal relationship with the deities is lost. There's not enough time to talk about these things, to relate with one another. Now that's not sour grapes, by the way. Someone might say, well, that's sour grapes. You want to have more people, so you think that's good. No. The point is that no matter what condition we're in, whether we have only a few people or many people, the idea is to stay focused on the deities and the devotees. And we can continue doing that regardless. Plus, religious institutions are seen in 50-year cycles. No religious institution and all religious institutions put together did not achieve what ISKCON has achieved in its first 50 years. In their first 50 years, that is. You've got to compare time to time. Because if you want to compare first to another and you say, well, that's a child who is a 2-month-old child. Why is that 2-month-old child not doing as well as that 30-year-old person? Well, let's ask what that 30-year-old person was doing when that person was a 2-month-old child, and compare a 2-month-old child to a 2-month-old child. See what I'm saying? So if you want to compare what ISKCON is doing, we've got to look at, this is the 48th year of our existence. Right? 2 more years, 14, 15, well, 3 more years. So 47th year of our existence. Well, let's look at the organizations in their 47th year of their existence. What did they do? Religious institutions, what did they do in their 47th year? How much success did they have? We've broken all records. In every department we've broken all records. So in a sense, I think we've grown too quickly. My argument would be we've grown too quickly. We're not able to handle our people. And some of the devotees will testify to that. They don't feel as well taken care of as it would be if it was a little smaller. Seems to have grown a little large. So, anyway. But if tomorrow 1 million people decided to turn up here, I'm sure we'll find some way to deal with it. I'm sure Mother Nityananda is a very, very intelligent person, and all of you are very intelligent, you'll figure it out. I don't think you'll think, 1 million people turned up, let's all take off to Phoenix or something. No one can take care of 1 million people. No, we'll figure it out. But that's again Gaura Nitai's desire. Do they want that? Do the deities want that to happen? Let that happen. We're the servants. We're like the butlers, right? The butler is ready to serve the master. That's all. Butler doesn't think too much. Why not? And, analyze and
plan and do vision planning and mission planning and everything else. The butler is there. If the boss needs something taken care of, the butler is there, ready, waiting to serve. So we like butlers. You also like butlers that we serving watchers and watchers. It's getting late. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you.